תורת הכל, מאת דוקטור אלון גלעדי.
מאמר שני, אל הכוכבים, בלימה, שאלה, הובלה.
About 160 years ago, an extraordinary book was written by an American author named Dodge. The period in which the book was written is loaded with meaning. The end of the American Civil War in 1865. A war that claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands of Americans. The author dedicated this book not to the United States of America, but rather to a place far from it, Holland. At the center of the story are a brother and sister, the Brinker brothers, Hans Brinker and his sister, children of a poor family who tell stories to each other and to their friends. One of these stories is the story known as the Harlem Hero, which deals with an 8-year-old boy whose name is not given and was later attributed, apparently in retrospect, to Hans Brinker himself. According to the story, the boy goes out of town to the other side of the dam to bring cakes to a blind man. After he hands over the cakes and sets off on his way back, he notices a small trickle of water seeping through the dam. With the wonderful intuition of an 8-year-old child, he understands that if the trickle continues, the dam will burst, and the entire city will be flooded with a huge flood. The sea will break through the barrier designed to protect it. In an extraordinary act of heroism, the nameless child climbs the embankment, approaches the dam, and sticks his finger into the tiny breach, thus stopping the flow that could lead to a huge disaster. During the cold night, he cries out for help, but no one hears him. No one comes. Only at dawn does one of the local residents notice him, call for help, and the city is saved. As part of the story, one of the children points out to the others that this is a well-known and famous story, one that no one in the world does not know. The anonymous child represents the soul of the nation, a soul of heroism, of initiative, of action that stops the small trickle before it becomes a disaster. The sea, or nature, or in another reading, the wrong structure in front of them, do not flood the city, do not destroy humanity, because a moral little boy with pure observation dared to stop in time. The story of the Dutch boy who saves an entire city from the forces of nature echoes a deep and familiar motif. A little boy drives them. This is a well-known motif in human culture in general, and in the culture of rational faith in general, and in the Israeli faith in particular. Thus, in the well-known prophecy of Isaiah in chapter 11, a vision is described in which a shoot will come out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch will flourish from his roots, and upon it rests the Spirit of Jehovah, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of counsel and might, a spirit of knowledge and the fear of Jehovah. The spirit of rational ascension does not rest on superficial hearing or on the sight of the eyes, but on proof, on reason, on supreme intelligence. Then the immortal sentence appears, and righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard with the kid, and a little child shall lead them. In Israeli popular culture, a clear expression of the same motif can also be found in a well-known song by the Nahal, a youth pioneer group from the early 1970s, In a Red Dress. This song, whose lyrics were written by Ruth Sefruni and whose music was composed by Yair Rosenblum, centers on a seemingly innocent little girl who asks one question: why? Among other things, it says, "In a red dress and 2 braids, a little girl, alone and innocent, stood and asked why." And in contrast, and all the volcanoes, and all the storms, and all the lions, and all the tigers, and all the great ones, and all the wise ones, stood pale-faced and found no answer. These images directly echo Isaiah's vision, a world of immense, violent, and powerful forces standing without an answer in the face of one simple question posed by the pure, clean mind. The motif of the question of why, combined with the motif of an answer that goes beyond convention, is a necessary condition for the forward march of all of humanity, not just on one level, but on all levels of thought, in rational science, rational morality, and rational faith. This is in contrast to the current path of humanity, which is marching without rational faith, without rational morality, and, as will become clear later, without rational science.